And welcome into the Wheelhouse, your Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. The Wheelhouse. We are here every Sunday morning at around this time, as you know, due to our current standards, Matt, we are about 8 minutes late. But that's if you're not fashionably late, Matt, then I don't know what you're doing. Matt, how are you?
What are you doing? I'm good. Just kicking off the late night rust. I was up late last night and watching the Royal Rumble, but I feel pretty good, ready to roll this morning, ready to see some conference championship football and whatever. There's probably good college basketball on today too.
I watched the.
You watch your boo boo?
I have to watch. Yeah, I have to.
We watched her yesterday too.
Yep. Yeah, I have to watch Baby Boo. Another good game for her in Iowa as they take down Nebraska. But
that started out as a pretty good game, and then she just started to just make every freaking thing she threw up from beyond the arc, way beyond the arc.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we have a lot to get into this morning, as you touched on Conference Championship Sunday. We will get into that. We will put our spin or opinions on the National Baseball Hall of Fame new class, Matt. Hall of Fame baseball new class of 2024. We will get into that, and also we will get into what's been going on in the NBA the last couple of days. Outrageous scoring nights, and a missing person alert too. Is
Amber Alert.
Yeah. I haven't seen a milk carton in a while, Matt, but I imagine he's on that too. So we will get into all of that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all of the respective social medias. You can go to Facebook, Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle, Instagram at Elevation 5280 Radio. You can follow Matt on there at House Dad Matt. You can follow me at Sports Junkie 25. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at 5280 Sports Radio, at Matt Mascarenas1, and I am at Michael Spillin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the same as the X handle at 5280 Sports Radio. There you go. Clayton knows what's going on. So hit and I like how people say smash it.
Smash it.
That button.
Smash it.
Smash it. So there you go. We are gonna start, Matt. First of all, got the retro on. You saw me with my Booze jersey on last week. If you don't know, I'm a collector of rare jerseys. I don't know how rare it is, but they support and run CMC today, Matt. Colorado native. Got the Valor on.
Heck yeah. I wish it probably would have been bad look. I know it would have been, but it could have been cool to get something from him. Cause I talk about this a couple times. I officiated back when he played, and I worked behind him when he was returning kicks, and I would talk to him, and I would tell him.
You should have did a jersey swap.
I should have did a jersey. Yeah,
I was just gonna say,
I should have at the end of the game, and just hold our jerseys up right next to each other. It was cool. Even back then, he was a cool kid, and you knew what that dude was going to be like when you watch him. Him and Max Borghi from Pomona were probably one of the best high school football players I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game, so we'll get into that here in just a moment. But last Tuesday, Matt, remember our show last week? I was debating on wearing the Helton jersey that's hanging up behind me, taking style points from Nick Archuleta, who obviously you could catch on Undrafted, Uncensored, and he had his Helton jersey hanging up in the background a couple episodes ago. So I took what he did, but decided to go with the Rockies hat last week, Matt, and then my Booze jersey last week. So switching it up this week. Got it hanging behind us. But were you surprised, by the way? Because I was watching it live when they made the announcement on MLB, the MLB network, and I'm like, they were talking. First of all, Joe Mauer. I forgot all about that dude.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about Joe Mauer, and he was an excellent catcher, Matt. Maybe doesn't have the numbers as some of the dudes in the Hall of Fame, but he is a former AL MVP. He's one of the best catchers of all time. but they were like, he's been with the same team for, I think he played 15 years. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, that's not Helton. And then they got into Adrian Beltre, and I was like, well, that dude's been on like 5 teams. And then they finally got to Todd Helton, man. So what was not only your reaction to those 3 guys, but 3 guys is a lot for
Right.
one induction class.
That's what I see. I had a basketball game during all that, but I was keeping track of it, the alerts on my phone. And that's the thing. Like when I saw the first guy come up and then like you just described it, I was like, oh no, it's not gonna happen. Cause I was hoping he'd be first. Cause if he's first, then it's okay, he's in. And but if he's not, then you're keeping waiting. So when you texted me or you sent me that message, I was like, oh, awesome. I saw that, and then I was like gonna wait till I got home, and then I watched the whole kind of thing unfold. I watched his moment, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty freaking cool. And like you said, like the Mauer, as soon as they announced him, I was like, there's no Talton's out. He's not Helton's not gonna get it because but it ended up working out. Boom, he's in, and it was. I don't know if you want to call it bittersweet or nothing because I'm happy for the guy and then what he said, some of the things that he said that I loved and it made me remember him, how just chatting with him because I've had lunch or not had lunch, but I've been at Old Chicago and Fridays up here on 120th where I live, and if you don't know, he lived right up the street. I think he don't even live in the state anymore, but he used to live right down the street from me, and I would see him at these places and I would talk to him and he was just a regular freaking dude. He even bought us beers one time. But when he said that he would rather go to have a World Series appearance and play in the World Series and do all that with the Rockies than he would go win it with another team, kind of made me emotional, kind of brought a tear to my eye. And I couldn't help but just like get sad and upset about how, like, is that ever gonna? Are we ever going to? It went back from him into the team. So, but it brought up a lot of soft moments that I remember from the Rockies when Helton was there and everything that they went through with that team and just Helton's entire career was just tremendous. And that jersey back there, that's one of my favorite jerseys. The white one. I think that's the best Rockies jersey that was ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're actually. Did you see that they're actually? This is a side note. They're actually retiring the black vest jerseys, which remember in
Yeah.
2007 when they went to the
Mm-hmm.
World Series, they wore that basically all run long because baseball is super, not a little stitches, but super superstitious is
Super,
baseball.
super.
So
Yep.
they wore that basically the whole run and during that 2007 season. Yeah, and that quote you were talking about, he says, "I'd rather go to the World Series and lose with the Rockies than win
Yep.
it with
Yep.
any other team." And remember that 2007 season where, ironically enough, man, they obviously got swept by the Red Sox in the World Series, but he almost got traded to the Red Sox
Right.
earlier that year. And it would have been I don't know if a lopsided trade is the right term, but remember the Red Sox were going to trade eventual World Series MVP Mike Lowell, a couple of pitchers, and Boston kind of nixed it and was like, it's we're giving up a lot for a guy who's kind of on the downslope of his career, and Helton ended up playing for what 8 seasons more
Right.
after that, or maybe 6 seasons after that, but. Yeah, it was a crazy year that year. I went to a lot of those games that they showed. The game
Mhm.
163. Went to the entire series where they swept Philadelphia. Went to the game where they swept Arizona. Game 4, where the Helton with just his arms extended in the air after
Mhm.
stupid Eric Burns slid into first base. So, yeah,
Burnsy.
I don't know if he is one of, if not my favorite player of all time, Matt. It's why I play first base in softball leagues. So
Yeah, he's one of my favorite baseball players of all time, and he's one of my favorite Rockies, and he might almost be my favorite Rocky, but yeah, I would say he is my favorite Rockies baseball player for sure. And I remember that season too. It was and go back on that trade. he was kind of getting frustrated too. I don't if you remember, he was like, "Hey, if you're gonna do it, let's just do it and get it over with. I'm sick of this speculating. I'm sick of this talking and stuff like that. If you're gonna trade me, just trade me, get it over with, so we can move on." And all that stuff. And then all the things that he was linked to the Clint Barmas trade because he was carrying deer meat up the stairs and he fell down. Remember all that stuff with him?
Yeah.
The hunting and out east and all. Just there's so many memories. And Todd Helton, like, he legitimately enjoyed living in Colorado and being a Colorado Rocky, and he enjoyed everything around here. Loved the state, loved everything about it, and it fit right into what he likes to do. So it was, yeah, he's my favorite Rocky player of all time. I would for sure say that.
So if you're wondering, obviously it's been almost a week since this. The induction ceremony will take place in June. And then obviously the Rockies are going to do something on August 17th. So they're going to probably unveil the little gold ring like they have for Larry Walker out there out in right center field above the trees and above the bullpen. So if you were wondering about that, if you're wondering about Helton's numbers, did you see that? I didn't even see the percentage. Did you see the percentage he got this year?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the only one I saw was Joe Mauer. He barely got in.
Yeah.
He was at 76%. Remember, Helton last year was at 73, and you need 75% of the vote to get in. The only person I saw was Joe Mauer because he barely got in, but he is a first ballot Hall of Fame catcher. Helton, by the way, hit 317 career, 2,500 hits, 369 home runs, just over 1,400 RBIs. Those 5 All-Star games, Matt, 5 straight All-Star games, and 3 Gold Gloves. I mean, Helton should have at least 10 Gold Gloves. By the way,
for sure.
The way he played first, I mean, he might have been the best picking first baseman for as long as he played it. If you don't know what I mean by picking, when balls are thrown and they hit the dirt, he just picks it, man. And he I don't know if there's anybody better than what he did at first base. And he underrated defensive first baseman. Those 3 Gold Gloves don't even begin to tell you how good of a defensive first baseman he was. And I don't know if you heard him say, he was kind of nervous about his hitting. And he said once he got his defense down, which is kind of weird in baseball. He said once he got his defense, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, once he got his defense down, his offense came because he was kind of worried about both phases of his game, but he knew if he got one of those down, the other would come. And obviously did, Matt. 317 all-time hitter. That 2000 season, by the way, I don't know how he did not win MVP. Couldn't even tell you who won.
Right.
I mean, the dude hit 370 that year. 49 home runs, 150 RBI. How do you not win MVP?
Was it Rollins?
No, Rollins won it in 2007 when arguably Matt Holliday should have won MVP that year.
That's what I was thinking of. Yep.
So I don't. Yeah.
Is he what? Yeah. Don't even ask. I wasn't even going to even bring it up. So, yeah. I was. And do you remember of all the I don't know. Negative talk about they would just bash his power hitting. They said he's too small. He's not a big guy. He can't. He's not a power hitter. And that dude would hit gappers, man. And he would just the swing. He was one of the best hitters I've ever seen, especially from that side of the plate. And you put the numbers there, and it was great. He was always. And then like there was even some talk. I can't remember who it was talking about how they were saying his numbers are too good, or they were trying to bring up the Coors Field bias again for him, which is I hate that. I absolutely hate it, because if that was the case, then how many we would have so many like there's so many things to look at against that argument that drives me crazy. But we're not going to get into that. But I was happy about it, and I wasn't shocked, I guess. I wasn't shocked that it all went down the way. Did you see the celebration they had here at Coors Field? Did you get the chance to see that?
It was a fan fest yesterday, Rockies Fan Fest, where you can go and meet the players and stuff.
Right. What did you think about that?
I guess he was out at McGregor Square too. You were able to meet him.
I heard I don't from the people that were there, it looked like it was a good fun time. But of course, you're going to get the bashers on social media that just are going to dump on the Rockies. This is they took this as a chance to dump on the Rockies too. So that was kind of sad to see. But from the standpoint of the people who were there at the party, it looked like it was a good time, and it
I
was.
went like I want to say like 8-10 years ago.
Mhm.
It was pretty cool. But by the way, that 2000 season, Matt, Helton played in 160 out of 162 games.
Wow.
He hit 372, on base percentage of 463, slugging 698, and he had 42 homers, 147 RBIs, 216 hits, 59 doubles, and he came in fifth, by the way.
That's
in
ridiculous.
MVP voting, NL MVP voting. Can you name who won the MVP in 2000?
No. If
Jeff
he's fifth, who? Oh
Jeff,
God.
Jeff freaking Kent. Do you know who came in front of Helton? Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, and Gary Sheffield.
Oh, see, I was gonna say Sammy Sosa or Barry Bonds or one of those. Kent, who was he playing for the Astros? Who the hell he play for?
I don't know if he was on the Astros or the Giants at that time, but
God, that just makes me grumpy right now.
yeah, I don't know how you came in fifth with a 372 average, but it was.
Oh, gross.
Oh yeah, he was on the Giants.
The Giants.
It says he won the MVP over teammate Barry Bonds. So I'm trying to look at what Jeff Kent did that season, and fifth, really?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible. Pretty bad. All right, in 2000, Matt, Jeff Kent, he had 196 hits, which was around 20 hits less than Todd Helton. 125 RBIs, which is about 20 less than Todd Helton. They won't let me look at the rest here. I don't know.
But I bet the record and the San Francisco record and the Rockies record had something to do with it, I would imagine.
Well, plus they're gonna at that time you're probably factoring in the Coors Field effect.
Oh yeah.
But now everyone's saying that's kind of gone because now you have Larry Walker and Todd Helton in the MVP. All right, 196 hits. He had 33 home runs, which is about 10 less than Todd Helton. 125 RBIs, like I said, which is 20 less than Todd Helton that season. And he hit 334, which is about 40 percentage points less than Todd Helton. So everything was subpar that year for Jeff Kent. And again, maybe the Giants made the playoffs that year. I don't know.
Yeah, but, It's the MVP is a crazy in any league. In any league, the MVP, in my opinion, has just been. There's no like black and white things to follow. Of course, if we'll get into the NBA here pretty soon, but there's some new rules that might screw an MVP. But anyway,
yeah. So there was Todd Helton. So congratulations to him. We're gonna try to get on one of our friends from Rocks Pile to talk about Todd Helton, the Hall of Fame this season, and who possibly could be the next Rocky because. You know what they say, man. Everything comes in threes. We had Larry Walker a couple years ago. Todd Helton. Is there somebody next? I don't know if you saw the they call them the headliners for next year's Hall of Fame, but for whatever reason, Troy Tulowitzki's on that list. Matt Holliday only got 1% of the vote this season. Gary Sheffield, who was close, I guess, he is now officially off the ballot. Matt, this was his 10th year on the ballot. He's going to move into that legacy or that whatever they call it, the old timers vote.
Yeah.
Which Jim Leland got in this season. And I feel like Jim Leland was a Hall of Fame manager to begin with, but
for sure.
He got in on the legacy. So it's actually a pretty good class this time for the National Baseball Hall of Fame. The other, as we kind of mentioned earlier, Joe Mauer played 15 seasons for the Minnesota Twins. He was a first baseman and a catcher, probably more well-known as a catcher. Career average, Matt, 306, over 2,100 hits, 143 RBIs, 143 home runs, 923 RBIs. Again, he won the AL MVP in 2009, was a six-time All-Star, and a three-time American League batting champ. So, when they announced Joe Mauer, I totally forgot about this dude.
Yeah.
And why is Justin Morneau talking about Joe Mauer? Justin Morneau was on the Rockies at one point.
Oh God, he was.
It was
Yeah.
cool though. It was cool how they had Justin Morneau talk about Joe Mauer. They also had obviously Peyton Manning talk about Todd Helton. I don't know if you saw that
Yeah.
little tribute
Yeah.
video. That was cool. But what was your take on Joe Mauer?
Like you said, I was like, I forgot he was on the Rockies. I forgot about all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I just, um, I like when I heard that, it was very, very like, it surprised me. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It was surprising.
All right. And then the third member that got in, first ballot Hall of Famer, Adrian Beltre, who is a platinum glove winner, by the way. He was a pretty darn good third baseman. He obviously played as for the Texas Rangers, Red Sox, Mariners, and Los Angeles Dodgers. And he hit a career average of 286, not great, but he had over 3,000 hits, over 3,100 hits, 477 home runs, just over 1,700 RBIs, 5 gold gloves at third base, and I just mentioned a platinum glove, 4-time All-Star selections. He played 21 seasons in Major League Baseball.
How many teams did he play for?
4: Rangers, Red Sox, Mariners, and Dodgers. He came up with the Dodgers, went to the Mariners. He played only, I think, 1 or 2 seasons with the Red Sox, and then finished it out with the Rangers. I think he's probably going to have a Rangers cap.
Yeah, I was just going to say that he's known more for the Rangers. I remember him for the Rangers. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, pretty crazy. He made his first. He was a 4-time All-Star selection. He didn't make his first All-Star game until he was 31.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I just like you go back to like I remember Beltre, and of course remember Helton, but I just don't. I remember he played and stuff like that, but I just don't really recall a lot of significant things from Mauer, man. I just don't.
Oh yeah, and I had a crazy stat from Mauer. And how about this, Matt? Joe Mauer of the Twins is the first player in MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL history, so the 4 major sports, the first player in any major sport to be drafted number 1 overall by a team from his birth state or province, play 15 plus seasons for that team, and reach the Hall of Fame.
That's interesting.
So there you go. That was a crazy Joe Mauer stat that I dug up. He didn't dig up, but I dug up.
Yeah, don't give him credit.
No,
don't give him credit. And like another thing, like I wonder how the Minnesota fans are. I would like to see like how they're taking it, because it's. I wonder if Joe Mauer's like our Todd Helton. I mean, I feel like Todd Helton's
got to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so
played all his career with one team.
So yeah, I mean, comparison. Minnesota's probably doing the same thing with Joe Mauer that we're doing with Todd Helton.
Yeah, and Kadire and Joe Mauer or Justin Morneau were like, peace, Minnesota. We're going to go join up with Todd Helton here eventually.
I remember Michael Kadire was here. He
won a batting. And Morneau won a batting title with Colorado.
I was just going to say their run here wasn't it's no Chris Bryant. It's no Chris Bryant run, but it was all right.
Yeah. And Justin Morneau I think he was a little after Helton retired, because he kind of took over for first base for Helton, because it would have made more sense if they brought in Morneau and or Kadire if they had the DH back then in the National League. But obviously the DH wasn't introduced in the National League to this last year or
last season.
Before, So that would have made more sense if you had Helton and Morneau in the same lineup. I don't know if they honestly played together. Zero research, all reaction. So there is your new class of 2024. Pretty good class, though, for baseball. And I was so super shocked because remember last year only one person got in. I couldn't tell you what year it was where nobody got in, but now you have 3. So I was super surprised, pleasantly surprised that 3 people got in.
Like we said at the beginning, when I was seeing the updates and the alerts on my phone, and during timeouts or dead balls or something, I'd take a glance at my phone, I'd get a little beep, and I was like, up, Todd's not going to make it in. Once I saw those things, and I was like, it ain't going to happen. But surprisingly, it did. So great, awesome, super excited. Yeah, I wish he was still around here so I can go grab a beer with him. But I don't, I'll drive, Todd. I'll drive you, bud. I thought he moved. I don't know. I was kept here. I thought he stayed around and just moved further north, because that's what he did when he left over here.
I thought he lived in like Castle Rock or something.
I see he might have moved over there when he was out here. He lived over here in Lake Village, and there's a Arbor Estate. That's oh wait, what the heck's it called? But anyway, there's a really high end community like just a block away from me, and it's gated and all that mumbo jumbo. And you could see his batting cage and stuff because you could walk kind of around it. You can see his batting cage, and I was even like, he almost was gonna let me go and fish because there's a lot of fish in this lake over here. He's like, yeah, come on over, you can come and fish and stuff like that. But it's not like I ever like try to get his number or nothing, but like that. But but
That'd be a good number to have.
wouldn't it? But then I know when he left there, I coached baseball, and he had bought so I had some players on my team, or the team I coached with, the guy or who I coached with, their parents sold their house to Todd Helton, and he moved in. It was like some house either just down the road. It was kind of up, and it's still like a big up higher end community, but it was more spread out. There's more property, more acres and stuff like that up the road here. There was a diamond in the backyard because we used to go practice on that diamond in their backyard. So it was there's a lot of history that I've experienced personally with Todd Helton, but it's crazy we didn't become boys and go be drinking buddies and golf buddies and stuff like that,
Yeah, you could have been his designated driver that one time.
That's what I told. Like I was like, I'm like, dude, if I was there, because I go to this gas station right here to get beef jerky and an energy drink back during that time, and I was like, dude, if I would have been there, man, I would have just loaded you up and took you home.
Sweet. There you go. That diamond you speak of gives me some Sandlot vibes.
It was straight up Sandlot. I mean, it was dirt, grass, and it was literally grass.
Giant dog. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was dirt. There was lines going through the grass, like first base. It was pure Sandlot, and it was so much fun to practice there.
Giant dog named Hercules. Hell yeah.
Hercules.
There you go. The beast.
The beast ate him.
Yeah. We got every piece of Rector set I had.
Yeah.
All right. Transitioning over to football really quickly before we get into these conference championship games. Some more coaches moving around. We didn't touch on this, man. We missed good old Jim Harbaugh is going to the Los Angeles Chargers now. So a pretty good coaching conference or division in the AFC West now. Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, and Antonio Pierce is officially the head coach now, back with the Las Vegas Raiders. So what do you think of Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers and abandoning a team he just won a national championship with?
This is why I don't care about the NIL and the transfer portal. This is why I don't care. And did Jim Harbaugh leave? Yeah, they won a national championship, all that stuff. He didn't coach for 6 games. There's so many things you can look at his last year and be like, he's out after that. He just rolls out. There's allegations. There's still stuff going on over there. There's still issues there, and he's out. This is why I don't mind the transfer portal. This is why I don't mind the NIL deals in college football, and because coaches can do stuff like this. They could just roll out. He did not leave that school or that organization better than when he found it. There's no freaking way you can tell me that a championship is going to be okay for the next 5 years of that team not being as good or even close to even reaching that point to what they did with Harbaugh. There's no way you can tell me that. I think Michigan's going to go into the crapper again, and he didn't leave it the way he found it. So from that perspective, I'm like, that's what happens. That's the way it is. That's why I don't care about that's why I'm glad the NIL is there and transfer portal is there, because of situations like this. On the flip side, there's a lot of pissed off Bronco fans today. I know there is, because they wanted this guy. The Broncos wanted this guy, and now he's in your division. Good night of I mean, he's got a good quarterback, and if you're a Broncos fan in Broncos country, I'm not happy about this. You're not. It's you better hope that the quote unquote fourth choice, Sean Payton, is going to have his what together, because this is going to be a tough conference, because Harbaugh's going to have that team rolling. I don't know if this year, we'll see what happens this year, because there's a lot of stuff that they got to tighten up over there on that offense, injuries, people coming up and stuff like that, and the defense as well. But he's going to have that team rolling here pretty soon, because everywhere he goes, he rebuilds and he wins. and then
I
he
was just
leaves it on fire.
I was just about to ask, how long do you give the Chargers before they are not necessarily a playoff team, but at least in competition to win the division? Because I mean, the Chiefs have run this division for how long now?
Long
Ever since
since
Patrick
Peyton
Mahomes.
Manning retired.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and as long as Patrick Mahomes has been the starting quarterback, so 6 to 8 years.
Yep.
So how long do you give Jim Harbaugh to turn this thing around?
I would have to see what the moves he makes this season, like how he goes into this first year and what he's trying to do, his mindset, and how he's going to rebuild this team. Because the Chargers are always going to Charger. The biggest thing that I remember and why I'm looking at the Chargers like they're just like almost like the Browns, like a factory of sadness. They had Marty Schottenheimer, who is, my opinion, is one of the greatest coaches of all time, to not win a Super Bowl. And I think that they charged with him. They charged with that guy. You had Phillip Rivers doing, say what you will about the man, say what you will about the on-field attitude. That dude was competitive. They had LaDainian Tomlinson. They had Antonio Gates. They had the teams and they couldn't do it. They always charged. So that's elements always there. But if Jim Harbaugh, I would say 2 to 3 seasons, this Charger team is competing, is either winning this division or in competing in the playoffs. I would say at least 2 seasons. 3 at the most, but I would say at least 2 seasons, depending on what they do this year, who they go, and how they rebuild it. But they could be competing next season if Herbert's good to go and they get that receiving corps under wraps or figured out, because they got some good receivers over there. I don't know if Keenan Allen's going to be a part of that. He had some injuries. They had that Mike Williams, and he's getting older. Yeah, they had Mike
Austin
Williams.
Eckler, he held out. Remember?
He held out, and I don't. He might be a free agent. I don't know. I can't remember if he is or if he signed, but there's a lot of things that they're going to have to look at this season. But if he does what he wants and gets his guys and he can have this team, that Charger team, back into the playoffs and competing in this division, being another, one of those teams in this division by next season at least. But for sure, I'm thinking 2 to 3 seasons from now, he's going to have that team humming.
So, yeah, so we will see. He did lose. Well, I don't know if he necessarily lost, but the Chargers lost offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. He goes over to the Philadelphia Eagles, joining Papa Vic as the other coordinator. So Papa Vic and Kellen Moore bolt, pun intended if you want, for the Philadelphia Eagles. So they will join Sirianni's team up there, maybe try to see what happened. The collapse at the end of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles was monumental, Matt, because they were running things and then just totally collapsed, almost the same as the Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
And they just kind of choked away their season. And so we will see what they do in Philadelphia. Also, the Carolina Panthers have a new head coach as they bring in former Canneers, Dave Canales. He goes to the Panthers. It seems like the Panthers have had 5 head coaches in the last 4 years or something.
Yeah.
Like, remember they brought in Frank Reich. He didn't work out. And they are just in shambles right now.
It's this Canales trade. And then what's really funny is you got everybody too with this. Oh, that's a good place for Russell Wilson. Let's trade Russell Wilson over there because Canales was a guy that was in Seattle. He was good with him. Let's send Russ over there. Canales was brought in to groom I forgot his name now. Yeah, they brought in to groom him, brought in to bring him along, brought him to get him to where he needs to be. I thought that's what Frank Reich was there for. But the way I understand it now, Frank Reich didn't even want him. He wanted CJ. So there was a lot of issues in that Carolina. That's a tough job. And a guy like Canales, in my opinion, is the only one that's going to get that job right now until they build that up and make that more of an appealing job. And it's all on him to do it. But you're not going to get a big name coach. You're not going to get a good coach that has had success in the league to go there and be a head coach in Carolina after everything they've done the past couple seasons, from Matt Rule to Reich. And they didn't even give the San Francisco 49ers D coordinator a shot there last year when he took over as interim. But Carolina's a freaking mess. And I don't know. I'm not going to say Canales is a guy that's going to make it even better because it's still going to be a mess, but he's there to groom the quarterback. He's there to get that guy straight. And we'll see what happens after that. But he might, that was that hire. That's why everyone's like, well, that's crazy. Why did they hire him? He's never had a head coaching position in his tenure. He went straight from high school assistant to college assistant into NFL assistant or whatever. He never had experience as a head coach. He's been an OC. That was his first time being an OC or a coordinator
Well,
in that sense. So,
yeah, they're going to say, well, look at what he did for Baker
yep.
in Tampa Bay.
And then what he did with Russ in Seattle too is getting some run. But I mean, what did he do with Russ in Seattle? Wasn't Russ in Seattle? Aren't we like? Don't we have proof that Russ in Seattle was more of that structure and what Pete Carroll and those guys did with him there too? And I think that could, now we're seeing now that was more of the case and not just like, you know, a guy, because there was so many names attached to Russell Wilson getting him good work, but now you're looking at it, those, you don't talk about those guys anymore because Russ is who he is, and he was the same guy in Seattle. It was the team that was good around him.
And then one of the more interesting head coaching hires a couple of days ago was the Atlanta Falcons bringing in Raheem Morris as their new head coach. He's been the Rams defensive coordinator since 2021. So, and this was the same team that was, you know, that gave Bill Belichick a couple interviews, and then they just go with Raheem Morris. Were you shocked or surprised at this hire?
Yeah, Arthur Blank basically said that it's Belichick's job if he wants it. And I think he had 2 interviews, I want to say, and it was his job if he wanted it. Like, that was the last thing I remember hearing. And then all of a sudden, Belichick is out, or he's not even involved, and they're moving on from him. And then Raheem gets a job. So it's a great hire from that perspective, because I think Raheem Moore's a good coach. I really do. And I think he's going to be a good head coach. That's a good spot for him there, for sure. Definitely a good spot for him. And it really does make you wonder now. And I read something today that Belichick's looking for the right fit, whatever that means. I think he wants a team that is, because I think he interviewed a couple times with LA too, I want to say. And I think Harbaugh was going to go interview with Atlanta again, but then they canceled that interview, and then they hired Morris, and then boom, then Harbaugh gets it. And then I think that's what I read this morning, that Belichick's like he's going to wait for the right position. I don't think he's going to be a coordinator. There's people saying that just get him go be. I don't. You're telling me Bill Belichick's going to be a freaking coordinator?
And I think that's why Atlanta didn't choose him, because I think he wanted the keys to the whole thing, like he did in New England. And Arthur Blank was like, no.
And
I don't know about that. Although probably not a bad thing for Atlanta to give Bill Belichick the keys.
So there's a lot of these owners, man. These ownership groups are scared of what they've seen in the past from other teams that give coaches like that power. And I think that's what Arthur Blank was kind of like, I don't want to go down that road. But like you just said, if there's a person to give all the power to, why not be Bill Belichick? And for all this stuff, the game's passed him by. The game is not passed this guy by. This guy has been through decades of freaking football. You're going to tell me he doesn't know how to adapt? You're going to tell me he doesn't know the basic game of football? He might not be able to relate with these young guys with their rap music and stuff like that, but look at, well, I wouldn't say just rap music. I love rap music right now. I'm not saying it's negative. I'm just saying that look at Hackett. Hackett could dance, do all the dances. He knows all the words of the songs, and he was a horrible head football coach. Bill Belichick knows freaking football, and he knows how to put a winning football on the team. And I still think Bill Belichick is going to be a force wherever the hell he ends up. And I wonder if if this would have been a job for him here in Denver, if this job would have been open in this cycle, I wonder if they would have interviewed him, but the game hasn't passed him by.
Because there's still a couple openings. Tennessee and Seattle, I think, still have openings. Do you see Belichick coaching this year, or do you see him kind of take a year off and come back next year?
That's what I see. I don't know. I think Washington. No, who'd Washington hire?
Oh yeah, they still have an opening.
Are they still open?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was Bieniemy's job, and they haven't announced anything yet there. I thought Washington can be a good job for him. That could be a good place, because it's like, Shanahan went there. You had Joe Gibbs there. There's the lineage of coaches that have coached in that place. I thought that would be a good place for him. Tennessee, I could see that, yeah, but he said the right fit. And from what he said, what I read a couple weeks ago when he first came out, he was looking for a team that was up and coming, but still needed a little work, but that was good. So I don't know really if any of those. I could say Washington could, because you don't have a quarterback there unless you go.
Well, I was just about to say, none of these teams, maybe save for Tennessee, have a planted quarterback.
Yeah,
Is Atlanta really going to go with
Ritter
down there? Is Tennessee going to go with? I think Levi's is going to be the guy there.
He is. That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Is Seattle 100% with Geno Smith now? Is Washington 100% with Sam Howell? Like, are these guys? Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's the issue with Belichick. He wants or that's why he wants the key, so he can pick his own quarterback.
That's that right there, and that makes you like Belichick could be sitting back looking like, look at what happened in Denver there with Sean Payton. He went in and he was he was supposed to fix Russell Wilson, and he didn't fix him. He tried to run an offense around, and now he's going to be stuck with trying to find a quarterback. And maybe Belichick was looking at some of these teams and saying they don't have a quarterback that I can go in there. But at the same time, I'm like thinking to myself that there's a plenty of options out there that if that Belichick can come in and grab a guy, they can have like a Rich Gannon, an Elvis Gervback, a Trent Green, a Kurt Warner. Like there's all these guys that you go back that had good times, good football runs. I wonder if those guys are out there that Belichick can bring, but like you said, maybe he doesn't want anything to do with those quarterbacks. Maybe he's not looking into that. Maybe he wants to either have a job with a quarterback that's in place, or maybe I don't know if he wants to draft one and go through that whole process. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see where Bill ends up. Just a couple openings, so it'll be interesting to see where and if he goes anywhere. He may just sit back and take a year off and wait for next year's cycle, because Black Monday comes every year, Matt. So there might be more openings next year. We will wait and see as we look ahead to these conference championship games, Matt, this afternoon. I like the early starts, by the way, for that later game. I do like that, but obviously we will have the AFC championship game coming up first, obviously Kansas City and Baltimore, and then a little bit later it'll be the NFC title game between San Francisco and the Detroit Lions. Last week, Matt, you were like, I'm done with the Lions, and then they go and move on.
Baker didn't help us out. Well, he tried. Baker tried, but the Tampa Bay defense was just not doing anything against that running game. Nothing.
Yeah, so Detroit takes care of Tampa Bay last week, and this is going to be an interesting matchup, Matt, because you have a Detroit team who's never really been in this position ever. And then you have San Francisco, who's used to being in this position.
Mm-hmm.
They made a Super Bowl a couple years ago, ironically, with Jim Harbaugh, and going up against his brother in that Super Bowl. And obviously Baltimore is back in the AFC Championship game. But, I mean, this game is going to be in San Francisco. Well, where is it actually located?
It's Santa Clara?
Yeah, something like that. So
like Levi Stadium, right? Santa Clara? Or was that their old spot? Was that where Candlestick was?
No, I think you're right. Santa Clara, somewhere in that vicinity of San Francisco over there. So Detroit on the road and San Francisco at home. I'm leaning towards the 49ers, Matt, and I'm leaning towards them anyway, just because they do have a lot of Colorado connections, i.e. my Christian McCaffrey high school jersey. Obviously John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers, played for the Denver Broncos. Kyle Shanahan, obviously the son of Mike Shanahan. By the way, with Raheem Morris getting that job, really quick side note, he is now the 5th head coach from that 2013 Washington Redskins team, Matt. And we put up this a couple months ago when this one right here. So this 2013, by the way, so you have Kyle Shanahan, who's the head coach. You have Matt LaFleur, who's the head coach. You have Sean McVay. Raheem Morris was on that staff, by the way, as well. So he is also.
Was it Kanalik? Oh, no, he wasn't. He was on Seattle staff.
No, there was one more person, and now I forgot who was. But Raheem Morris was. It was Mike McDaniel was also.
Mike McDaniel, right.
So there's 5 coaching members from this 2013 Washington Redskins team that are now head coaches. So Raheem Morris, and remember, Raheem Morris is back in the NFC South. He was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers once upon a time. So
Mm-hmm.
he is back as a head. So five coaching members from that 2013 Redskins team are now the Commanders team. Now head coaches once again in the NFL. By the way, that Washington team back then, Matt, went 3-13.
That's crazy. That's
And those are all,
crazy. And that was, you had the Gruden, you had Gruden on there too. And what's been pissing me off a little bit and getting me a little grumpy is they've been putting out saying that this is Sean McVay's coaching tree. It's Kyle Shanahan's coaching, or not Kyle, Mike Shanahan. It's Papa Shanahan. Papa Shanahan's uh coaching tree is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. That's his, like, all these guys came from the Shanahan coaching tree. You can look at and say
they're all branches.
Yeah, there's a branch that has Kyle Shanahan, and then there's guys that fall off of that branch too, and there's a branch of Sean McVay that fall. There's going to be Mike McDaniels. There's going to be Matt LaFleur's. There's going to be those.
Even Jay Gruden is on that tree somewhere.
Even Jay Gruden. Yep. I was just going to say Jay Gruden. Did you see the beef with Jay Gruden and RG3 over social? That was hilarious.
Jay Gruden will ever be back in coaching? I don't think so.
I don't think so. That guy's an a-hole, man. I don't think he's got the just like McDaniels. I don't think he can ever be a head coach because he doesn't know how to act and talk to people, and he's just a little asshole. But he knows football. He knows football.
There you go. And his brother was kicked out. So
yeah.
So anyway, the San Francisco 49ers, obviously a lot of Colorado connections. The Detroit Lions also have stolen America's heart, except for Matt.
Nope.
And so did you see, by the way, at a Red Wings game, everyone was chanting Jared Goff, which was kind of cool.
And did you see? I know real quick, but did you see that play in the Red Wings game when he heart stopped on the crease, through the ice into the goalie's face, and the goal, and then they shot the puck, goal went right behind him. Mighty Duck stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to see a knuckle puck, but that's
it's knuckle puck time.
Looking at this NFC Championship game, I'm assuming, based on your comments last week about the Detroit Lions, are you going with the 49ers?
Oh, yeah, I'm going with the 49ers. And Debo's playing today. I think they're going to get their butts whipped, to be honest with you. This is a little bit of bias, but I just keep seeing things. And I guess this is what I'm doing, Mike. I keep going against them, and I keep seeing things that Detroit that can be exploited. I saw that when they played the Tampa Bay. Defensively, I saw Baker doing things. I'm like, yeah, they're not going to hand. San Francisco does this. They're just going to destroy them. And then I saw, and who'd they play before? It's skipping my mind.
San Francisco?
No, Detroit. They played Tampa.
The Rams.
The Rams. And that Rams game. That Rams game was the one that I was like, I don't know if they can beat Tampa, and because it was 23-24. And then going into this, there's just things I'm trying to look at it from a football perspective and leave my emotions out of it. And I just can't see Detroit doing things that's going to take away or beat what San Francisco does. The only thing that I don't have any confidence in is Brock Purdy. I have zero confidence in him that he can come out and do what he needs to do and make a play if it's not a Deebo Samuel, or if it's not a Christian McCaffrey or George Kittle play. Okay, I just wonder there. Like, if the only thing I would give the nod to, and this is absolutely crazy, is Jared Goff over Brock Purdy. That's the only thing I would give the nod to. So with that being said, I still think San Francisco has way more going for them as it goes with football than Detroit does. I don't think there could be a way that Detroit runs a football like Green Bay did. There was a lot of pin and pulls in that with what Green Bay did, and was successful running the ball with Aaron Jones. Detroit can do that, but I don't know how long it's going to last. And I would imagine the 49ers have that cleaned up by now. So I just don't see, I just can't find a way outside of something like last year happening, somebody getting hurt, injury, something, that San Francisco can lose this football game.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that as well. Like you said, I would tend to choose Jared Goff over Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy's had a pretty sturdy season, and Jared Goff's getting a lot of run. I like both of these teams, man. I'll be honest with you. It's not going to hurt my feelings one way or the other. And we'll get in as we transition to the AFC title game, man. I don't want either of these teams to make it. I know one of them has to, but I don't like either of these teams.
Right.
If I were a betting person, and I am, I would lean towards Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm sick. I like Mahomes, but I'm just sick of the Chiefs. I don't really care about the Taylor Swift thing. It doesn't bother me. I like Travis Kelce. I like him and Travis's podcast, so he doesn't bother me. I'm just sick of the Chiefs, and I really don't like the Ravens, man. I just don't like them. I've never been a Lamar Jackson person. I've never been. I guess Harbaugh really doesn't bother me, but I don't know, man. Maybe it was just because of that 2012 game.
Yeah.
Still, where Shane Falco threw that bomb to Jacoby Jones and
Raheem the Dream.
I was at that game at
God, that was a cold game too, man.
By the way, or whatever it was. Yeah. So I don't know. Either way, man, I want an NFC team to win the Super Bowl. And that's it. I mean, if I were leaning towards a team, it would be Baltimore. They just Lamar Jackson. This is going to be a good quarterback matchup, Matt, because both of these guys have so many tricks up their sleeve. They can run, pass, just make plays out of nothing. Obviously, we've seen Patrick Mahomes in this AFC West forever, so we kind of know what he's about. Obviously, Lamar Jackson got paid, and now he's playing unbelievable. They just the plays they make out of nothing, Matt, with their legs and their sidearm passes and their no look passes and their behind the back passes, whatever needs to be done, Matt. They always seem to find a way to do it. And I guess I would be leaning a little bit towards Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I love the color red. I really do. It's one of my favorite colors. But anytime you put yellow on it, it turns and it looks like crap. And that's with anything.
See, I don't like mustard mixed with ketchup.
Yeah, it's there. Thank you.
And I don't like mustard anyway.
I'm okay with mustard, but it's just got to be alone. It's got to be as like a mustard on a brat is good.
What are you putting on your hot dogs?
On my hot dogs, I put relish, onions, and ketchup. That's what I put on my hot dogs.
I am just solo ketchup on hot dogs. It's either solo ketchup or chili and cheese. That's it.
Oh, that chili cheese dogs are good. And then, but brats. See, here's the thing. I'm brats and onion rings. They go with mustard. I'm a mustard guy. I understand that. If you're not a brats person, like if I go to Rocky's game, a Rocky dog with ketchup and all those freaking peppers, everything that they have there, tremendous. But when it comes to red and yellow together, when you mix them, like you said, it's just ugly. Whether it's the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it's the St. Louis Cardinals, whether it's the North Glen Norsemen, I hate the colors.
The Braves hate those teams. Have some yellow mixed in.
Who does?
The Braves have some red and yellow mixed in.
They do. I get what you're saying.
Look at what Ronald Acuna wears. He wears those bright yellow shin guards and the elbow pads.
I know, but they're more. I look at the Braves as more of a blue.
They're like a navy blue,
bluish, yeah. But I get your point.
They do have some yellow trim though.
They do. I agree. Yeah, I got a jersey in here that's red and it's got the yellow tomahawk and it's on there. But yeah, I don't think that
even the Blackhawks have a little bit of yellow mixed in, but
yeah, because it's on the
But it's tasteful. The
Braves and
the Blackhawks are tasteful.
Yeah, it's tasteful. It's not just
weird? Isn't it weird too that the three teams that have red and yellow kind of mixed in are kind of tributes to Native American culture? Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Braves, Blackhawks, and Chiefs.
Braves, Blackhawks, and then when you had Washington, the Commanders, when they were and then you look at the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah.
Well, Guardians is kind of like the Braves.
They look like the Braves, right?
Yeah, they're predominantly blue and red. But anyway, continue.
But in this situation, I don't have any. There's no way especially if you're a Broncos fan in Broncos country, there's no way you're rooting for the Chiefs in this situation. No way. But as far as football goes on the field, man, I think this could be another blowout. I really do. Lamar Jackson is rolling. He has that team rolling, man. He's everything going into this season that he had to deal with in the offseason. I think this is it. This is his year. He's going to win the MVP again. That gives him 2. He's gonna beat Pat Mahomes in the AFC Championship game, which he hasn't really done ever in his past. Like he lost what he was number 1 seed, and he lost to, I can't remember, I think it was the Dolphins or whatever who he lost to when he was a number 1 seed when he lost. He's going to check all those boxes today, and he's going to go to the Super Bowl. And this is going to be a great day for Lamar Jackson. I really do. Like you said, I'm not a Chiefs fan. I don't like the Chiefs. Never liked the Chiefs. I already said, went through why I do it. I can't stand Pat Mahomes. I respect what he does on the football field and how he plays the game and stuff like that. But I can't stand the guy after watching that stupid quarterback thing on Netflix. His wife, his brother. There's so many reasons why I can't stand his dad. I like his dad though. Me and his dad can go hang out and have a beer. Did you see what his dad said when he was asked about do you hope Taylor Swift's or do you want Taylor Swift in that booth? He goes, I hope not. I hope she's not in there or something like that. Yeah, I think he's over it, man. And even Kelsey's or Jason Kelsey's wife, she's over it. You know, I'm just this year. This year's not the Chiefs' year. It's not their year. They did everything. What they're going to do is do what they're going to pass the torch, right? This is a year I think they passed the torch. They're there. So Lamar and the Ravens, definitely specifically Lamar, can go through and check that box. You got to beat the champs to be the champ, and he's going to go through and beat the defending champions. You got to be the man to beat the man, blah, blah, blah. He's going to do it today, I think. And like I said, I don't think this game's going to be close. I'm thinking like 35-23 with a last-second touchdown or something. I just think the defense is too good on Baltimore side, and I don't think that defense is going to stop what Lamar can do. He presents the same things that Josh Allen did, but he's not the straight up runner. He's not going to ram it down your throat. He's going to get on the outside. I watched plays last week, Mike, where I thought he was going to run the ball, and then he pops up and throws it over the top. And Mark Andrews is supposed to be back today. That's huge. So, yeah, I got the Ravens all the way in this one. And I don't even care, like you said, I don't even care about Taylor Swift anymore. I don't care about that whole deal. And I just hope that it's going to be done.
I think the people want to see Jason Kelsey more than they want to see T Swizzle. So, By the way, I don't know if it'll necessarily be a blowout. I think where Baltimore has the edge, not only is it in Baltimore, so you got the home field advantage, but you also, I think, like you said, I think Baltimore's defense just a little bit better than Kansas City's defense, and it might come down to a defensive stop. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a blowout or a double-digit game. It might just come down to one of these because their offenses are going to score, Matt. Their offenses are going to do whatever they need to do. I think it's going to come down to either of these defenses making a crucial stop.
And the way Pacheco's running that football and producing, and Brandon Rice or not,
and he's questionable. I saw Pacheco's questionable
for
this game. Yeah.
See, and that hurts them because what he brings, because the Chiefs, that running game has been up and down, up and throughout the past couple seasons. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was supposed to be the guy. McKinnon, he did. I think he's on IR. He's done. I don't even think he's in the line. He's on IR, isn't he?
He's not even on the roster. But the injury report, Pacheco is questionable, so he's a game time decision. Yeah. Good news for so you don't have to worry about. He
won't drop the passes.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about him dropping passes. Everyone's pretty healthy for the Ravens. The only one that's questionable that kind of affects them is Marlon Humphrey. They're Pro Bowl cornerback. So other than that, both of these teams are pretty much healthy. But like you said, if Pacheco can't go, you're relying on, like you said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was, like you said, supposed to be the guy.
He's supposed to be, but
he got shoved down the depth chart. He's like the third option now, but he might be moving up. I mean, we've seen what he can do. He's a pretty decent running back, but he's going to be thrust in. If Pacheco can't go, he's going to be thrust into that number 2 spot on the depth chart.
Yeah, that's if Pacheco can't go, that kills this team. That kills what this offense usually does. And I just, man, that's a tough deal with right there. And then that brings up another option. Like it's Kansas City looking for running backs next year. There's a lot of options at running back next year. It's that could make that team better. But I just think it's Lamar's year. And I think it's and I'm not even saying the Ravens. Like I'm rooting for Lamar Jackson this year.
See, I've never been a Lamar person. I don't like either of these teams, so I hope they both win.
Yeah. See, Lamar got me when he was drafted and he said, and Deion Sanders was asking him, questions and stuff like that. And what are you going to do for the Ravens? What are you going to? I'm going to bring him a Super Bowl. I'm going to bring him ball. I'm going to bring champions. And he said it right there. That got me with Lamar. That got me with him, And of course, his college career was tremendous, but that got me with him. And I've been a Lamar fan. I didn't 100% agree with the way he was handling everything, but he bet on himself. He bet on himself the entire time. He stuck to his guns, bet on himself, and now he's going to have an opportunity to go play in the Super Bowl.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, who's going to be playing? Is it Vegas?
Vegas.
Vegas, right? So who's going to be in Vegas for the Super Bowl here in 2 weeks?
Give me I almost said the Raiders. Why the hell would I
the Ravens?
Give me the Ravens and give me the Ravens and the Niners. Give me the Ravens and the Niners. And even when I say that, I'm like, Brock Purdy versus Lamar. No thanks.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I'm going for either NFC team to beat either AFC team. That's my pick. I don't care who wins it from the NFC. My heart is going with the 49ers. I don't mind Detroit, and I just don't like either AFC team. So I hope they both lose.
Would be
Baltimore,
happy.
by the way, a 4.5-point favorite at home.
God, they're 4.5. I think that line opened up at. No, it didn't open up at 7. I thought.
And if you're wondering, 49ers are a touchdown favorite at home.
That's the one I was thinking about. That opened up at 7.5. The Niners and the Lions. So it's at 7 now. I might go get some money on that.
Well, you got time. So that is our picks. I am going with either NFC team, not only to win the Super Bowl. Where you go if it is the 49ers and Ravens? I mean, we'll obviously talk.
If it is we'll talk. We'll get. If it is the 49ers and Ravens, I would not. That would be great because I'd be happy either way. I'd be happy to see Lamar win, but then I would be super happy, super excited to see Christian win, and Kyle and all those guys, Lynch, all those guys because they're and
Randy Gregory,
but Randy Gregory.
He's changed the culture there.
Randy, he changed it. Oh man. And Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes is the guy I was trying to say. I'm rooting for that guy. I like him as a coach. I really do. But like the whole the night this real quick. Could you have seen that situation that's with the 49ers here in Denver? Like I feel like there could have been a possibility to have that situation here with Lynch and Shanahan, but Elway was in the place at the time. But I remember there was a time Kyle wanted to come here, and then Lynch was trying to. He became like there was a deal where they were trying to get Lynch here to be the GM, but Elway was already there. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of ties with San Francisco and that organization, all the players, and we've talked about this a couple times with Denver. So I'm very very curious. They didn't even get They didn't even give Mike McDaniel an interview either. But yeah, anyway, I think there was more stuff about not wanting another Shanahan in the building than there was.
That's what was crazy to me. Like, obviously, Shanahan's know how to coach, so I don't know why you wouldn't want that there.
That was a weird time, Mike. Like the Broncos have never recovered from the Peyton Manning retirement. I don't know if they ever will. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, post John Fox and Gary Kubiak, you've had what 5-6 head coaches in 9 years.
Yeah. And you could have fired two of them in the first year.
You haven't made the playoffs in 7. It's crazy.
It's wild. It's so wild.
So anyway, yeah, I'm going for either NFC team over either AFC team. So that is my pick for the Super Bowl. And we will, I know I've been saying it for weeks, we are going to try to have Nick Ferguson on for a Super Bowl preview show. So
he's too busy whining about the refs somewhere, I think. So
yeah.
Maybe he'll get here.
We will try to get him on and get his perspective on these games. All right, Matt, before we get on out of here, the NBA has seen some crazy scoring nights over the last week or so. We saw Embiid drop 70. We just saw Luka drop 73. Booker had 2 60-point performances, both in losses, by the way, for the Phoenix Suns. And it's just been crazy. What I mean, what do you? And by the way, what 2 or 3 of those on the 16-year anniversary of Kobe dropping 81 on
Right.
Toronto? So, I mean, what's up with this?
I want to throw a little bit of a magic dust on that, and I could take the point of view of, was Kobe in those gyms when those guys went off, because like you said, the anniversary and stuff of him passing, him and all those people passing in that helicopter crash. But Kobe could have been in the air, and it was just the right night. You could look at it that way. But that's the sentimental, that's the spiritual. If you are spiritual, that's the the where you look up and you're like, oh, Kobe's here tonight, that's why these guys are going off. But the basketball part of it, you can't help but like, where's the defense, man? Where's the freaking defense? And I like Embiid's. So right now we're just going to throw out Embiid's performance, because in my opinion that was the worst of all these performances. He
By
took
the way,
40. Go ahead.
Have you seen this person? Have you seen him?
Exactly. Who is that guy? Like, we don't even know who that dude is. And you throw
Have you
out
seen
his
him?
no. What? No, I thought I saw some guy like that walking around last night getting booed.
Yeah, very gingerly walking around.
Very
By the
gingerly.
way,
Very gingerly.
by the way, in a nice puffy winter vest, some Louis
Oh, he
Vuitton
looked comfy,
shirt.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked comfortable. He looked like he was relaxed and he could have played basketball. But whatever. If you're hurt, you're hurt. You shouldn't play, because Joel Embiid's whole main focus this season is to win a championship, right?
That's what it was last season. Then he cried about the MVP. By the way, and I think it was Stephen A. I can't.
Well, yeah, dude, it was. Yes.
Sticking
We're
up
gonna
for
cuss.
him.
We're gonna cuss, and we're about to cuss.
Sticking up for him. I even X'd at. Is that what?
Oh yeah.
I even
You
X'd
X'd him.
at Stephen A. And I'm like, dude, stop sticking up for this guy. Like, and now he can only miss. He can't even miss 6 more games. If he misses 6 more games, he will no longer be eligible for the MVP. And then they're all saying he doesn't care about MVP. He's focused on the No, because if he doesn't win MVP, he's going to cry again.
And there was a stat too, Mike, that it's just not the Nuggets. This is like a thing. This is so he has Embiid's missed like, I want to say like 9 games, and 6 of those teams were against, like, on the road, I think. And where like there was a list of all the games that he missed, and you can tell there's like a pattern. There's a pattern. And I think Embiid, and that's why I throw out his 70 performance and just look at that. That was because he took 40 some shots. He took 23 free throw attempts, and they won by 10. And like in that situation, Maxey was still on the floor. Tobias Harris was still on the floor. They were playing the San Antonio Spurs, because Stephen A. Smith.
You played the 7-win Spurs. You barely beat them.
And Wemby still scored 33 on your ass. And like what are we doing? He's a rookie. And Stephen A. Smith's point when he came out, the defense is crap. The defense is in the NBA. And he was trashing Luka's performance, saying that was a horrible defense.
Oh, yeah, he just dropped 73 yesterday.
Luka didn't have Kyrie on the floor. Luka took 33 shots. That's just a little under 10 less than Embiid did, and he took 16 free throws. So to Stephen A. Smith says some dumb shit, but that was stupid. Like, that was from a ball watcher's perspective. From Stephen A. I couldn't believe he said that. Like, that was borderline going a different route than basketball, in my opinion. What Stephen A. Smith went out there and said about Luka's performance over Embiid's performance. It was just garbage. And Mike, I know you're going to hate this, but I think the best performance of the weekend of anybody happened last night. Get ready to get mad.
Oh God.
Your boy, LeBron James. You're going to walk off? He's out of here. He freaking.
We also forgot to mention the Big Purr, by the way.
The Big Purr. Well,
last week in a loss.
And I
love what the head coach said.
Yeah.
I can't tell you his name, but he said we were immature. We deserved to lose. We disrespected the game.
Yep.
But Big Purr also dropped 62.
And he also dropped 62 in a loss. And last night, like, all this, like, I got to give the old man props. The only reason why I'm saying this is because he's an old man. They won last night.
That pass he made, bro, I make those passes in rec league every Sunday.
Don't get me wrong. I can't
They're
stand
like
this guy.
the old man can still make that dude, it's a
I
regular
know.
pass.
I know.
Like
I last night was more about like the Warriors'
two old men
deficiencies,
going at each other.
but it was just like I couldn't.
Steph had 46 and LeBron
Yeah,
had what, 30, 38, 36?
he had 36 points,
He had a
20
triple double.
rebounds. Yeah, he had 36 points. The 20 rebounds are impressive as hell for that old man.
I mean, I watched most of that game, and they just kind of fell right to him. Come on.
I got you. I hear you.
And a lot of them, he wanted the rebound to get the triple double and to get
and he played 47 minutes.
The dude's all about notoriety.
I know. I hear you. The only reason why I'm giving him his props.
Is that like, you know how when you sweat it turns white? Is that dried sweat on his beard, or is that just gray hair? Because it looks terrible.
Have you seen that? Have you seen it when he's in the after the game and he's combing his scrubs?
His nothing. He's combing.
He's blowing skin.
He's combing his
scalp.
His cul-de-sac. Is that what he's doing?
It's Mike, like, and this goes back to, we're Nuggets honks. We love the Nuggets. This goes back to that. There's not a team outside of the Clippers right now. The Clippers are on freaking fire. Yeah. There's not a team that can beat the Nuggets. You just look at everything, all the performances that we saw, Booker, back to like all these things that are happening that doesn't translate to a 7-game series in Denver or beating the Denver Nuggets in a 7-game series.
And the Knicks just clobbered the Nuggets by 40 the other day.
Right.
I don't even see the Knicks would not even hold the Nuggets jock in a 7-game series. The Nuggets were done with that road trip, by the way. They were just like,
they were done, right.
Like, exactly. I don't even, Michael Malone has been criticized for playing starters when maybe he shouldn't, but I don't think any starter should have touched the floor in that fourth quarter.
Right.
They were done. They didn't have their legs. And even last night, Matt, where they beat the G League Philadelphia, whatever they're called, the Freedom. Is that what the G League is called?
Yeah,
or whatever?
the free
or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what they're called. The Liberty Bills. I don't know.
The Liberty Bills. Yeah.
They say, the first game back from a long road trip, the first game back home is
a toughie.
I honestly thought they were going to lose that game to a bunch
so did
of
I.
scrubs. I mean, who the hell is what's his name? Streaker or Speaker, whatever that dude's name is.
Yep, Springer was his name. Springer,
that's right. Jerry Springer. I mean, this is just the guys that they were throwing
Oubre,
out.
Yeah.
I mean, Oubre. I mean, the dude flexes after making a wide open layup. I mean, come on, guys. This is.
And Beverly was out there
locking
up Jamal.
Yeah, didn't guard him once. Yeah, I mean, him mic'd up was pretty entertaining, but
yeah. I just all this does, Mike, like all the stuff throughout the week, like these guys are getting excited over one game performances, one game, and losses, and you're just barely beating these teams, and you're scoring 73 or 70. I mean, it's all this stuff I'm watching, and I'm looking at it.
Yeah, sorry. Half of these performances came in losses.
Yes, that's the worst part of it, and we're not looking at the right things when it comes to the NBA. The championships are won in 7-game series, and there's no team right now outside of the Clippers. Like, again, I'll keep saying that. I'm not even going to throw Milwaukee in there now because who knows what the hell they're going to do. Doc Rivers is taking over in the middle of the season because Dame Lillard and Giannis didn't like Griffin. Like, that's wild right there. In a 7-game series, there's not a team in the NBA outside of the Clippers that has a shot with the Denver Nuggets. And I'm barely saying the Clippers just because they're hot as hell right now. I can't leave them out.
And even in that series might go 7 because
it might go 7
because you don't have anybody on that team that can stop Joker. By the way,
that's the thing. Nobody can stop Joker. And I don't know if you saw last night too. The former GM from the Warriors came on and said right now in a 7 games in game 7. Bob Emery,
yeah. Is that who that guy is?
Yeah, that's who he is.
He was annoying.
He's annoying as hell.
I used to like Wilbon. Screw him. I used to,
yeah. And they come out and they're in a 7 games in a finals in a game 7 right now. They're going to take Embiid over Joker. They're going to take the guy that number one has never been there, doesn't win in the in game 7s. He's never been there, and they're still going to take a guy over the dude that was a Western Conference Finals MVP, back to back NBA MVP, who's already done it. I'm still going to take this guy. And then also, we're taking advice from a guy that does not know how to draft. Sure, he built that Golden State roster, whatever. He doesn't know how to draft bigs. He
I
has
was
no
wondering
clue
who
how to
that dude
draft
was
bigs.
because he was like, I'm picking the Warriors every time. I'm like, who is this guy?
He's an idiot. He's an idiot, is what he is. I mean, as far as content, or going out there and an analyst, whatever the hell you call that, what those sports entertainers do, it's wild, Mike, that they still are all over this dude's jock, and he hasn't done shit in the NBA. Sorry for my language, but he hasn't done nothing. And it drives me crazy every time these guys come out and they talk about it. How they take a guy that hasn't done anything over an NBA champion, just most recently an NBA champion. It's wild. It's wild out there how they do that. And the dude doesn't know how to draft. He drafted Wiseman. He doesn't know how to draft bigs, and he's talking about bigs. Come on, give me a freaking break, Emery. Give me a break, Embry. I don't even know if I'm saying your name correctly. I apologize.
And I used to like JJ Redick, but it sounded like he still played for the 76ers calling that game.
Yeah, he was.
By the way, and I like JJ Redick, and I
love JJ Redick. I love his podcast. Yeah.
It sounded like he was still playing for the 76ers. By the way, do him and Richard Jefferson have a beef, or because it sounded like they were taking small little jabs at each other?
They talk a lot of smack to each other. They do. They go back and forth with each other. And did you hear them too at the beginning of that game? Richard Jefferson was like, "Hey, if you're hurt, you're hurt, but this is starting to look like this is what happens with Joel."
Because he finally came out in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And by the way, to acknowledge the crowd, some might say, "Oh, that's fun and games," but that just means that I don't know, because what do you think of guys like that? The crowd was chanting, "Where's Embiid at?"
Yeah. I mean, and they were booing him, and he's like raving.
Yeah, do you like him like acknowledging the crowd, or does that just show how immature he is?
It shows how immature he is, because here's where it's okay to do that. If you're playing and you have your jersey on and you're winning, that's when you pump up the crowd, when they're booing you, not when you walk out of the locker room in your puff jacket, your fluffy jacket, and go over to sit on the bench. That's not when you put your hands up. Everything about that dude is just soft and just there's so much about Joel Embiid not to like.
It's just about as soft as the puffy jacket he was wearing.
Soft as the goose down in his puffy jacket, for sure, man. Go. Like what are we doing? I was so hot last night. I was so hot at that game and just the commentary and all that stuff. And I'm like, I just kept thinking to myself, Joker is never, ever. It's going to have to be 20, 30 years from now for people to look back and say, wow, he was really good. And to get rid of all this BS that's going on right now. Because it really, Mike, like I know we don't talk like this we don't talk about a lot of this on the show, but it really looks like it's going down another line when some of these guys, how they go at one person and then they show love for somebody else who hasn't done anything to even deserve all that pub that he's getting. Nothing. And Joker, after all this, and he still goes out there and puts over Embiid. He still goes out there and puts over the 76ers and what everybody's doing. He still goes out there and puts him over. That dude right there is what it's like. Not pumping up your hands, walking out on the court while you're getting booed.
And then the class and humility that Joker shows going over to Joel and giving him a hug, and stuff like that. He
didn't have to do that.
No, of course not. And then, all the other Nuggets kind of followed suit and, went over and said what, because almost every game, Joker goes and shakes the hand of every single player on the other team, every single coach, staff on the other team. He did it in the playoffs last year. He continues to do it. And, I really don't like her commentary, but some flowers to Doris Burke on the Lakers and the Warriors game last night, saying, after that simple pass by LeBron James, she goes, the only other person I can think about making that pass is Joker. So she did that a couple times last night in the Warriors-Lakers game. When she was talking about when she did the Nuggets-Celtics game a couple weeks ago, it sounded like she worked for the Celtics. So
I was just going to say that.
I was just going to and to do that. By the way, that subtle jab by Richard Jefferson saying, "Oh, there's Joel Embiid. It'd be nice to see him in a uniform, though."
Oh man, I love that, and that's what these. So those
And
old.
RJ used to play. He played what, a season or two with the Nuggets.
Yeah, he was here with the Nuggets. He was here with Joker too.
Yeah,
I think he was
he
here with
was here
Baby
when
Joker.
I think he was here when Joker and Jamal were drafted.
Yeah, yeah. He was here and saw those guys as puppies. So I love and Mike. I like watching the quote unquote old heads. Right. I like these guys come out. I can't wait to listen to these podcasts this week. I can't wait to listen to Up and or All the Smoke. The Nightcap is one of my favorite things. Have you watched the Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Gilbert Arenas and Ocho?
Dude, I love Shannon. He's the reason I wanted to play tight end. He was the reason I have like 3 of his jerseys. It
Do you
killed
got a
me when he
Savannah
went to
State jersey?
Baltimore. Huh?
Do you have a Savannah State jersey?
No, they're all Broncos ones, but
Oh.
it killed me when he went to Baltimore. And then I loved him again when he came back, but I don't. It's just he's becoming a little bit too much for me too. Not only because does he need to be surgically removed from LeBron's jock, but I don't know. I mean, everything's just becoming about race nowadays, and
that's what I'm saying. It sucks.
Who cares? Like,
I know it's basketball. Basketball's orange.
But it's not only that. He's just getting a little too much for me too. I don't know.
I can't watch him on First Take with Stephen A. I can't watch that show anymore because
I do like when he puts Stephen A. in his place sometimes, but
yeah. But because he's extra on that show, I think, and I like his stuff. A
little too extra anyway.
Yeah,
and I used to love Club Shay Shay. I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah, I do. I watch the Cat Williams stuff, and I still take it in, but I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying because I've noticed that a lot, especially on First Take, is where I've noticed that a lot from him. But I think he like ups it because he's there with Stephen A. and stuff like that. But you're right. He's kind of he hasn't got to the point where I stopped listening, but I can't wait to see how these guys blow up Embiid. I haven't seen Shaq and Chuck's take on it yet. I think we'll see them on, I don't know when another TNT game is though, but I'm excited to see what they have to say about all this whole deal. But I just think,
have you seen some of these TNT basketball things? It's like a whole new cast with Shaq.
Yeah,
what is that about?
I think that's like they're giving him time off. I know. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's like the B team, the C team. Don't get me wrong.
I don't need time off.
I don't need time. Well, I think. See, I don't know who they're going to replace him with though. Like who do you get there to be on in place of Shaq?
Speaking of terrible on-air personalities, Kendrick Perkins pissed me off too.
Oh God. He's the reason why we're in the situation because of the BS he said last year.
Yeah.
Like what he said last year was stupid and it was irresponsible what that guy said because he started all this crap now. Joker was so can you imagine being excited and happy and playing your butt off and with your teammates and almost have it and then you have some guy come out. The only reason why he won that was because he's white. That was ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He could potentially be have a chance to win 4 straight MVPs if he gets it this year. Should have won it last year. Took a couple months off, so he was just out of the daily drama of it all. But he came out and said, I'm probably going to get kicked off TV tomorrow. The New York Knicks just clobbered the defending champs or something like that. And I'm like, dude, you should have been off. Number one, you should have been off TV a long time ago. Number two, the Nuggets took the night off. Like they took the night off, and I was like, something that you should probably know something about. So there you go, Big Perk. You're welcome on here anytime, Big Perk.
Yeah, welcome. Come on, Perk. No. It's wild that these guys and that some of those guys they still go that route.
Remember we talked about it last year. Like, I wonder if they're just handed this script to cause the drama, to get views.
It looks like
clicks.
that.
I mean, it's wild. That's why I struggle to watch the teams I follow on national TV. Like I like when the Nuggets were on. I don't know if it was TNT or I know it was ABC yesterday.
Yeah, at ESPN.
I still wish Altitude did the games just so I could watch the home broadcast because it's bad.
It's awful, and I always listen to the radio. I always do my best to listen to the local broadcast, but even that's getting kind of tough anymore.
Yeah, I love Cause
is all over the officials.
Yeah, he's. I mean,
It
I don't care about that. It's just I don't know.
it's
It's getting a
but
little weird.
yeah, because it's like this last night I was watching the game and listening to him, and he's freaking out about a foul or something that happened, and you see it live or you're watching it, and it's like, what are you freaking out about, dude? Relax. So I still love Cos. He's one of the best in the biz, I think. And but I agree with you when we do that when they're on national, it's like, okay, who's on the call? Oh God, this is gonna be fun. And I'm a fan of Doris Burke, but that Boston game, it sounded like she was because there were so many. No, that's not that. And when it was like, are you rooting? Do you have a vested interest in Kristaps Porzingis right now, or what are we doing? And Joe Mazzulla is an absolute dummy. That guy needs to get his head straight, or that Boston Celtics team, he's wasting everything in that Boston Celtics team that what they got going because
Well,
he's
we
a
saw the
moron.
bad. Well, we saw the bad choices and mistakes he made in the Eastern Conference
Golly.
Finals last season. Because that Boston team should have beat Miami, but
They should have beat Miami,
that's
and I keep going back now. Now I'm stuck, Mike, because I wanted to see Philly in the finals, but I don't know if they're going to make it there. I don't think Joel's got it in him. I really don't. He does. I don't think Joel's got it in him to get that Philly because if they go to the finals, it's going to be because Joel Embiid took them there. I don't know if Maxi's there yet. He's had a great year, but I don't know if he's there to put him on his shoulder and take him there, to put him on his back, take him there. It's all about Embiid. Embiid doesn't care if he jacks up 50 shots. Like he doesn't care, and that's a problem. That's a problem from that position.
yeah. So yeah, these these performances, by the way, were just crazy, and it all came within like a span of a couple of days, which was super crazy. And three of them happened again on the anniversary of Kobe dropping 81 against Toronto. It was the Embiid 70. It was the hold on, let me pull it up. It was the Booker 62, and it was the Big Purse 62. So three of those happened on the anniversary of Kobe dropping 81. um, by the way, do you agree with, remember Wilt Chamberlain when he scored 100? He sat in the locker room and held up that little paper that said 100. Do you like when guys do that now, even though they're not really close to 100? Because Luka did it last night. He had 73.
Yeah, I saw that. What I thought was lame was when they go in the locker room and then Embiid did this, and Luka kind of sort of, they don't say anything. They don't even bring it up. Like that, I thought that was lame. And did you see Embiid celebrating like he won the championship too?
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, yeah, I think that's lame. You don't score 100, don't write it on a freaking piece of paper. Come on,
By
Luka,
the
what are
way,
you doing?
I'm trying to find it. It was funny because they had Joel when he scored. Oh, here it is. Let me put this because when Joel scored, what did he score? 70 the other
70.
night. Yeah, he held up a little piece of paper that said it too, and you're just like, I mean, I kind of get it, but
I don't.
I kind of get it because I mean, well, based on what we've seen the last week,
Right.
I was going to say like nobody's going to score 100 again, but
Somebody might.
somebody might now. Somebody might be raring for that 100 now.
Let's go with this. Who would score 100 first? Luka, Joel, or Booker?
Well, before you even asked, I was going to say Luka.
Were you gonna say Luka?
I think
I agree.
I think Luka
I
would
agree.
be the next one.
I think Luka, in my opinion, right now, like everybody's going Joel MVP, and I'm not even put Joker in there because Joker don't want anything to do with it. So I'm just gonna just take him out because I'm done with that. I think Luka's the MVP right now. I like Luka. I love everything what Luka's doing. I enjoy, even though he's whiny and got a dude kicked out because he called him chunky or something like that. I don't know exactly what happened. Did you see that?
Yeah, the fan.
Yeah. Whatever, Luka. Go eat another donut and score 80 next time. Come on. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Quit messing around.
All right, so here's the picture they took of Joel yesterday after the Nuggets game. So there you go. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, you got to send me that. That is freaking tremendous.
So that's he had to put on the jersey because he wasn't wearing one.
He wasn't wearing it. He had the puffy on. He had the soft puff.
Soft. I mean,
what a joke that dude is, man. My goodness. Like you can't even, you just and I don't know. I'm struggling trying to to just, it's when you see stuff like that. And then I went into the Royal Rumble last night, after all that, I'm pissed off about all that stuff or just annoyed with all the stuff they're saying. And then I got to go in the Rumble, and then I get in, because wrestling is sports entertainment, right? It's got its own drama. It's got its own stuff that's going on. So I was all involved in that. So it was a night filled of social media, it's sports entertainment and having fun, drama filled night. But I made it.
We made it.
We did it.
Came out the other side, and the sun came up.
It's a good thing you're not into wrestling, Mike, because you would just be overwhelmed. It's overwhelming with all the stuff that they're going on.
Also convenient that the outro song here is called "Feeding the Ducks."
Duck.
In celebration of, once again, Joel Embiid ducking, playing in Denver.
He's only. And did you see that?
November 8th, 2019.
19.
The last time.
Have you seen that dude from Philly? I can't remember his name. He's a moron, and he's actually gets paid to give opinions too. He said that they should cancel. This is another example of why they should ban sports in Colorado, because the altitude's too high, because there's too much altitude. So according to him, we shouldn't even be living here.
It's bad for our health.
We're idiot. Like
it's
those
bad for
people,
our health. Yet everyone who participates in the Olympics trains here. So.
Right. And this stupid 76ers came here to train. Remember that? Remember they came here to do their off-season training, and Deion Sanders called out Embiid during that dinner, and the dumbass still didn't play. And it's not this is what I think should happen next year, and it's already been talked about. The Nuggets, when they go to Philly, all 5 starters sit. Just put them all on, like they did kind of this year. Remember they did that?
By the way, do you think ESPN was pissed because they dumped this weekend rivals week? By the way, since when are the 76ers and Nuggets rivals? I mean, it's media created because of Joel and Joker. But
it's not a rivalry when the guy ducks him all the time.
Yeah. I mean, do you think ESPN was pissed because they branded this rivals week?
Yep.
You had the who did Dallas play last night? Was it the Spurs or was it Houston or somebody? I don't even remember who they played. But
I don't remember who they played last night.
Because obviously you had Steph versus LeBron, Warriors, and versus Lakers. That's kind of a rivalry. Western Conference teams playing each other.
Oh, that's a big rivalry, yeah.
I mean, ESPN was probably, and then they're sticking up for him.
And then they're sticking up. They should destroy him. But they're sticking up for him, and then they're sticking up for him. And
where there was the first game. By the way, it was crazy because they were like, did Pat Riley start this rivalry with the Heat? Because he was the Knicks head coach from 94 to 97 or something like that. And then it was contract extension time, and he asked for promotion basically and said, I want to be team president. I want ownership stake.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, we're good. And then I guess when the Knicks were playing Miami, I forgot who the owner of the Heat was or is at the time, saying, I'll make you team president if you become coach. So then he faxed the Knicks his resignment, and he became, obviously the rest is history. He's still the owner and whatever he is of the Heat now. And the Heat or the Knicks wanted to call tampering on the Heat, so the Heat had to send the Knicks a first-round draft pick and $1 million for stealing Pat Riley away. But anyway, that was interesting. So the Heat and Knicks, the Knicks actually blew out the Heat, and
I don't know how you can say the Knicks are a rivalry when they haven't been good for so long.
The Spurs and Timberwolves played each other, and then it was the Mavericks and Kings. So I think the rivalry week was just Knicks and Heat, Nuggets and 76ers, and then Lakers Warriors.
And that Nuggets and 76ers it's not Nuggets 76ers, it's Joker and Embiid.
Which is all media created. Joker
which is all exactly. Joker could care less. And Embiid acts like he doesn't care, but that dude cares. Yeah. He cares. You saw him in that game last week when they played the Nuggets in Philly. It was like it was the championship. And then all the Philly fans are the worst. Not only are Eagles fans the worst, but Sixers fans are awful as well. And they keep holding over the regular season games or the scores or Joel's production. It's like, okay, he can score 40, but the Sixers are still going to lose in a 5-game series against this Nuggets team. Like, he could score 40 as much, he could average 40, but they're still going to lose. And then he's not gonna make it into Game 7 here in Denver, because you're going to play Game 7 here in Denver.
Yeah, and the altitude is just,
we're all going to die, basically.
Yeah, it's the end of the world. It's just a ticking time bomb at this point. But that is going to do it for us here on the Wheelhouse. Don't forget, once again, go and like and subscribe to all of our social media pages, YouTube, and then go to our home base, e5280sports.com, where all of these past podcasts, video podcasts, audio, whatever you need is up there as well. Don't forget to catch Matt during the week with Ball Sports, as that is our exclusive social media podcast as well. And of course, Between the Lines with Kim Becker, giving you all of your Colorado sports goodness. So she puts that out every week. And just go to the Audio Vault and go to Spotify as well. You'll be notified when all of these episodes drop. So again, that is going to do it for us. Matt, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Go Niners. And God, I hope I was gonna say go Tay. Yeah, go Niners, man. I'm go Niners today. And I just don't be a ball watcher. Just don't be a ball watcher. That's all I got, Mike.
There you go. That's going to do it for us. Until next week, for Matt Mascarenas, I am Michael Spill, and we will talk to you next week.